Welcome to Analyzing Trends. Today we're getting philosophical. When we imagine the future, we're doing more than just guessing. We're building it from our past. Our memories, the stories we hold on to, and even those we choose to leave behind, directly shape what we think is possible. Every vision of tomorrow, whether hopeful or bleak, is constructed from pieces of yesterday. Our collective memory defines the limits and possibilities of what comes next. Now let's turn to artificial intelligence, specifically the AI-powered research assistant Notebook LM from Google Labs. Notebook LM allows users to interact conversationally with large sets of uploaded documents, posing questions and extracting insights directly from the data. Tech journalist and historian Stephen Johnson recently demonstrated its utility, analyzing approximately 200,000 words of NASA interviews and personal reading notes. The tool enabled him to uncover patterns and connections that might otherwise have remained unnoticed. However, while AI excels at identifying patterns, summarizing content, and structuring complex datasets, it lacks the critical capacity to interpret significance and context. Historian Lara Putnam emphasizes this distinction clearly. Artificial intelligence can present data, but discerning deeper meaning and narrative relevance remains fundamentally human. Without human interpretation, narratives risk being accurate, yet devoid of meaningful insight. One notable application of AI in Johnson's research involved experimenting with historical structure. Rather than adhering to a traditional linear chronology, Johnson employed a technique he terms the long zoom, shifting perspectives across vastly different temporal scales. For instance, he connected geological formations to specific historical moments, such as a single day in 1851, revealing connections that span centuries. AI facilitates this method effectively by identifying patterns and relationships across diverse timeframes and contexts. Johnson's approach underscores how events resonate beyond their immediate occurrences, influencing later historical developments in subtle yet profound ways. However, the ability of AI to uncover historical narratives does not eliminate the need for critical assessment. Important questions remain: which stories are preserved and why? Whose voices have historically been marginalized or repeated? While AI can highlight overlooked perspectives, determining their significance and deciding which narratives deserve greater prominence remains a fundamentally human responsibility. Ultimately, AI provides tools for engaging critically with history, but the task of interpreting and responsibly addressing the past is ours alone. Let's now consider design, not simply as aesthetics or technological innovation, but as a reflection of culture itself. Every design decision, what is created, for whom and how it functions, embodies implicit assumptions about labor, identity, and power. AI can reveal underlying patterns we might otherwise overlook, such as how particular designs perpetuate existing hierarchies, or how purported innovations may reinforce familiar dynamics. Design is thus inherently about shaping society, raising critical questions about the kind of world we are constructing and whose interests it ultimately serves. Often, what appears to be efficient or advanced may unintentionally contribute to isolation or exclusion, highlighting deeper cultural issues that warrant careful consideration. Let's briefly turn to philosopher Hannah Arendt. Arendt emphasized that the future is not shaped primarily by individual visionaries making isolated decisions, but by collective action, by many people acting together, often without fully grasping the consequences of their actions. AI can reveal the implicit structures and narratives underlying these collective choices, illuminating factors that may otherwise remain hidden. In this sense, our individual decisions are always part of a broader, interconnected whole, influenced both by the actions of others and by the historical contexts in which we operate. In conclusion, foresight is not simply about predicting future events. Rather, It's a deliberate act of deciding which stories we preserve and which we leave behind. Used thoughtfully, AI can highlight hidden patterns and amplify overlooked voices, but determining what matters and the kind of future we seek to create remains our responsibility. That's all for today's episode of Analyzing Trends. Thank you for listening. We'll return soon to explore further intersections of culture, technology, and the future. Until then, stay curious.